Hey y'all, what's happening, man? This is Nikaraxhi Sports Tape, and it's another episode, man. Y'all be sure to like, share, and subscribe so you can get the latest content whenever I post my videos. But on this next video, we're gonna talk about the 2024 divisional projection standings. You know what I mean? I made sure to go all around each division from the NFC to AFC East. We're gonna start off in that division first. We're going to start out with the NFC, which is led by the Philadelphia Eagles, the Dallas Cowboys, the New York Giants, and the Washington Commanders. Now we're going to start off with the Philadelphia Eagles, who last year they finished off with a 10-6, with an 11-6 record after getting off to a 10-1 start and finishing off the season at 1-5. And if you look at their schedule, man, those first if you just look at like those first, not really, well, outside of the Green Bay game, which is their first game, they play they play Atlanta, and they go to New Orleans, which I had that as a dub because New Orleans is always a tough place to play, even back to when Drew Brees was still the quarterback for that team. Tampa Bay, I got that as an L. We got Cleveland, who's always been known to play tough defense, you know what I mean? I got them winning that one, surprisingly. Then we got them traveling to the Giants, and I had them winning that one. Then they played the Cincy on the road. I had them losing that one. Jacksonville at Philly, that's a dub. We got Philly at the Dallas Cowboys. I say both of those teams, they're going to split. So Dallas gonna get one and Philly gonna get the other. Next, we got the Washington Commanders, who I have. Well, I think they're gonna have a nice season. Washington Commanders. But Washington at Philly, I have Washington losing. Philly at the Rams, I have them losing to the Rams, who gonna have one of the top offenses in the league, and let alone the NFC. When you led by Matthew Stafford, Puka Nacua, who looking to have a stellar second season. Cooper Kupp. They just drafted a wide receiver late in this past draft. He's looking he's looking like a steal. I can't think of his name, but yeah. So that offense is gonna be humming on all cylinders. Then we got them playing the Baltimore Ravens at Baltimore. Have them losing to Baltimore. Carolina at Philly. That should be an easy dub for Philly. Pittsburgh at Philly. I have them winning against Pittsburgh. Philly at Washington, I have them losing to Washington. Washington gonna win one, and Philly gonna win the other. Next, we got Dallas at Philly. Like I said earlier, I got both of these teams splitting. So Dallas gonna get one, and Philly gonna get the other game. It doesn't really matter if it's home or on the road. They gonna split. You know what I mean? Like those teams, like these teams in the NFC East, they not as much as like the gap isn't as wide as people may make it seem. You know what I mean? On paper, it could tell you a different story, but when these teams go on the field, like they know each other well, they know each other's tendencies. So I mean, because they've been playing each other for so long, and it's just all about who wants it more at the end of the day. But and then the last game of the season for the Philadelphia Eagles, I have them beating the New York Giants, and then with them being the New York Giants, after finishing the season off with an 11-6 record last year, I have them falling to a 9-8 record, which is a two loss drop from last season. So a two win drop from last season. You know what I mean? Like I said, they went 11-6, finished with the second best record in the NFC East, behind the Dallas Cowboys, who got the #1 seed. Is with the team we're going to talk about next. Now, Dallas, they finished off the season with a 12-5 record. Didn't end the season well against the Green Bay Packers, as they got smoked. The score was like 48 to like 30, bro. Like them boys just got smoked. If you watch the game all the way throughout, like Jordan Love, he was carving them up all day, you know. But they start out the season against the Cleveland Browns at Cleveland, and I have them losing that one because, like I mentioned, just a while ago, Cleveland, they're gonna play you tough on defense for sure. It's just all about what Deshaun Watson and that offense can do. But you know that defense always gonna show up, led by Myles Garrett, Zadarius Smith, Denzel Ward, and Greg Newsome. You know what I mean? Like those corners, like they probably got the most slept on DB room in all of football, led by Denzel Ward and Greg Newsome, the second. And I can't think of the slot corner, but even a slot corner is pretty solid as well. So I mean, Cleveland they've got a solid DB room over there. But I have the Dallas Cowboys losing to the Cleveland Browns. But I said Cleveland Cavaliers. But then the next game they play the New Orleans Saints at Dallas as opposed to at New Orleans, and I have them beating the New Orleans Saints. Next they play, unfortunately, the Baltimore Ravens, led by Lamar Jackson, who's going to be on he's going to be on a mission this season, I feel, because last season it shouldn't have ended the way it did, and I just feel like he's even more motivated to rewrite the wrongs from last season. And it's going to be a tough day for Dallas in this one. But I have Dallas losing to the Baltimore Ravens. Then their next game is against the New York Giants, in which I have them beating the New York Giants. God bless Daniel Jones, because it's going to be a long season for him if he can even stay upright. Next game is against the Pittsburgh Steelers. I have them beating the Pittsburgh Steelers, led by Mike Tomlin, quarterback led by Russell Wilson. Could get switched over to Justin Fields sometime in the season if Russell Wilson doesn't perform to the capabilities that he needs to. The next game is against the Detroit Lions at Dallas. I have Dallas losing this one, mainly because I feel like Detroit is one of the top teams, let alone not just the NFC, but the NFL and overall. You know what I mean? They in that top 5 convo when it comes to the top teams in the NFL. You know what I mean? With the Kansas City's, the Baltimores, the San Frans, the Green Bays, the Houstons, like those type of teams, and then you throw Detroit in there. Next we got the Dallas Cowboys at San Fran, which unfortunately I have them losing to the San Francisco 49ers. Next they got the Atlanta Falcons, whose offense is going to be humming this season, led by Kirk Cousins, who they just signed in free agency. That offense with Drake London, Bijan Robinson, Kyle Pitts. It's going to be fun to watch, and I'm excited to see what Atlanta can do, especially Kyle Pitts, because he's been a big disappointment since they drafted him in 2018 or 2019. What was it, 2019 or 2020? But either way, he's been a huge disappointment, and hopefully him and Kirk Cousins get on the same page, and he can have a stellar season, because I haven't seen the reason why Atlanta drafted him with that first pick, but hopefully he can show us this upcoming year. But the next game is against the Philadelphia Eagles, in which I have the Dallas Cowboys losing this one. As I mentioned earlier, I have both teams splitting, so both teams are going to get a win. Then we have them playing Houston, the battle for Texas, in which I have them losing to Houston. Next, we got them playing the Washington Commanders, in which I have them losing to the Washington Commanders. And this is kind of the skid where they going on a 3-game skid. You know, this is going to be their longest losing skid of the season. So it's going to be tough. Then they got the New York Giants, which I have them winning. So that's mainly the only, like, mainly all the NFC East teams, I have them sweeping down the Giants. Probably the Giants might get one dub on them divisional games, but for the most part, I see all those divisional teams from Washington, Philly, and Dallas just sweeping them. Like the only thing the Giants have working for them, respectfully, is they have a good pass rush. You know what I mean? That front 4. Other than that, the team is it's suspect at best. So, but next game they got the Cincinnati Bengals at Dallas, but I got Dallas losing this one because Joe Burrow, I feel like he gonna be especially at this point, late in the season to the end of the season, Joe Burrow, he gonna be riding hot. You know how he like to finish. We all know how they like to start slow and finish off the season hot. So it's gonna be a bad time for Dallas to play Cincinnati around that time. And the next game we got the Dallas Cowboys at the Carolina Panthers, led by second-year quarterback Bryce Young. Unfortunately, I had Dallas beating them. Not Dallas, but Carolina. I just feel like they don't have enough talent to compete with some of the other teams in the NFL. But it's going to take time, and hopefully, Carolina can build around Bryce Young. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully, it's a step. It's another step in the right direction for Bryce Young this upcoming season. You know what I mean? We ain't expecting him to make the playoffs or nothing like that. Or it's just all about taking the next step, and hopefully he can do that this upcoming season. But the next game for Dallas is against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, in which I have them beating the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at Dallas. Next game is against the Philadelphia Eagles, in which I have them beating the Philadelphia Eagles. And like I mentioned earlier, both teams are going to split. Then the last game of the season is against, of course, the Washington Commanders, in which it seems like they always tend to play them at the end of the season. And the Washington Commanders tend to beat them at that last game. We all know it happened just a few years ago, and it had Sam Howell, and he lit them up. You know what I mean? So in this game, I had the Washington Commanders beating the Dallas Cowboys. And just the Dallas Cowboys, after finishing the season 12-5 the year before, they're gonna drop to a 3. They're gonna decrease by 3 wins. So they're regularly going to fall to 9-8 this upcoming season. So it's all about, and that's all because of, like, Jerry Jones really hasn't given Dak much to work with this season. I mean, outside of CeeDee Lamb, I mean, who do you really look at as those game changers on that side of the ball? Like I mentioned this and one of in my last session from the other day, the only people they have on offense that can move the chains or that has you scratching your head is CeeDee Lamb and Jake Ferguson. You know what I mean? Respectfully, Tony Pollard, he was solid, but come on, he was just a guy. He wasn't ready for all those volume touches, and it showed. Now we see why he in Tennessee now. Hopefully he can do good with Tennessee, but it just wasn't a fit. And like he isn't a every down back, and that just showed, you know. But they just don't have much to work with, so that's why I had Dallas with a 9-8 record. But next we're gonna go to the Washington Commanders, who last season they finished off the season with a 4-13 record, and after they drafted Jaden Daniels and in the draft this past draft, like a lot of expectations are rather high. Well, it's mainly not a lot of expectations because a lot of the hype is going to Caleb Williams, and I wouldn't necessarily call it hype, but a lot of the expectations are high expectations are going to Caleb Williams as opposed to Jaden Daniels because he was drafted #1 overall. But Jaden Daniels, he's another talented prospect. I don't think he's getting enough recognition for what he did at LSU last season. I mean, he did win the Heisman Trophy winner. He was a Heisman Trophy winner. He was playing with guys like Malik Neighbors, Brian Thomas Jr. You know what I'm saying? A host of talent, but end of the day, he was the guy out there that was making the plays. You know what I mean? He had to get the ball to those guys, and I just feel like he isn't getting talked about as much. And I think he gonna let people know this season, like, y'all better recognize who I am, and that's what they're gonna do. To start the season out, they play the Washington Commanders. I mean, not the Washington Commanders, but the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers winning that one. The next game, they play the New York Giants, which I have them beating the Giants. And next, they got the Cincinnati Bengals, and I have them losing the Cincinnati Bengals, unfortunately. I mean, Joe Burrow. I mean, this one can really kind of go either way because we know Cincinnati likes to start slow and finish out the season hot. So, I mean, you could really go either way with this one. But I chose to go with Cincinnati, mainly because Joe Burrow, he has more the experience. You know what I mean? It's gonna be interesting though. Two former LSU quarterbacks going back and forth. You know what I mean? It's gonna be really, really exciting to see. But next game we got the Washington Commanders at the Arizona Cardinals. I had the Arizona Cardinals losing. The next one we got the Cleveland Browns at the Washington Commanders, and I had the Washington Commanders unfortunately losing to the Cleveland Browns because, like I mentioned earlier, Cleveland, man, it's gonna be tough to beat them, man. Like it's gonna be tough to score. Like even from what they did last season, I know last season doesn't translate over to this season, but man, it's just tough for them to forget how they played last season, and it's just no way. So I don't see that defense taking a step back at all. So I got them winning against Washington. Next game we got the Washington Commanders at the Baltimore Ravens. Jaden Daniels, who looks up to Lamar Jackson. We know. Well, he doesn't look up to him. This is the guy that he's been kind of compared to. You know what I mean? But unfortunately, it's not gonna be the day for you, Jaden Daniels, because I have y'all losing. And the next one they got not the Washington Commanders, but the Carolina Panthers. And unfortunately, Bryce Young is gonna be another tough season for y'all. Not from that standpoint, because you're gonna be getting hit a lot of shit like that, but mainly because it's gonna be tough to get a lot of wins. I mean, you should be able to get some, but against I don't see them beating the Washington Commanders. Then the next game we got the Chicago Bears at the Washington Commanders. Mainly, this is gonna be the main headline, and this one's gonna be the two top picks in the draft going neck and neck. And I think Caleb Williams gets the job done. You know what I mean? I think it's not like he not gonna like outperform Jaden Daniels to the umpteenth degree, but it's just all about those little plays that you make. And I think Caleb Williams is gonna make those plays to get the job done and get the win. The next game they got the New York Giants, which I have them sweeping the New York Giants. Next they got the Pittsburgh Steelers. Who they gonna like Pittsburgh? We know they're gonna play tough defense, but it's all about what you're gonna get on that offensive side of the ball. And with Russell Wilson at quarterback, it's question marks. You know what I mean? Big question marks. But I got Pittsburgh losing this one. Next one, we got the Washington Commanders at the Philadelphia Eagles. And like I mentioned earlier, I got both of these teams splitting. So Washington gonna get a dub over Philly, and Philly gonna get a dub over Washington. Next one, we got the Dallas Cowboys at the Washington Commanders, and I got the Washington Commanders beating the Dallas Cowboys. And next, we got the Tennessee Titans at the Washington Commanders, and I got the Washington Commanders beating the Tennessee Titans. Even though Tennessee, they're gonna be a tough out for anybody. Not too many teams gonna want to play Tennessee, mainly because it's just gonna be tough to play them. You know what I mean? They are tough nosed team. You know what I mean? Like they gonna get it out the mud. Like that's just their team personality. But the next game, we got the Washington Commanders at the New Orleans Saints, and unfortunately, I had them losing this one. Like I mentioned earlier, New Orleans is always a tough place to play. Even though Jaden Daniels did play there when he was at LSU, but man, in New Orleans, them Saints hit that Superdome. It hits different, bro. It hits different. But the next game, we got the Washington Commanders playing the Philadelphia Eagles at Washington, and I have them beating the Philadelphia Eagles. Next one is the Atlanta Falcons at the Washington Commanders, and I got the Washington Commanders losing this one, unfortunately. And then for the last game of the season, we got the Washington Commanders at the Dallas Cowboys, and like I mentioned, both of these teams going to split as well. And that'll after having a 4-13 season last year, I have them improving by 4 games and moving up to 8-9 to finish out the season third place in the NFC East. So a major improvement for the Washington Commanders, and hopefully Dan Quinn, he gets some Coach of the Year votes, because I just like what the Commanders did this offseason, just by adding the pieces that they added. They didn't add a lot of splash names, but for the most part they added pieces that fit. You know what I mean? Pieces that they know they could get in and like have these guys playing to they best potential. But on the last team in the NFC East, like for Christ's sakes, is the New York Giants, and I'm from New York, bro, and I love New York, but it's been a tough time for my New York Giants and my New York Jets as of late. But the New York Giants had to finish in the season out 6-11. They opened up the season at the Minnesota Vikings, and it's gonna be a tough year for these Giants, bro. I'm gonna just go through. I mean, we got Minnesota at the Giants, L. New York Giants at Washington, L. New York Giants at the Cleveland Browns, L. Dallas at the New York Giants, L. New York Giants at Seattle, L. Like Cincinnati at the New York Giants, L. Philly at the New York Giants, L. New York Giants at Pittsburgh, like I got them winning that one, respectfully. I got them winning that one, and it's a road game, so it's gonna be tough. You know what I mean? So that can go either. Like they can lose that one. I might put them down to lose that one. But in the next game, you got the Washington Commanders at the New York Giants, L. New York Giants at Carolina. You should win that one over the second-year quarterback Bryce Young, like you should. Tampa Bay, like your defense should have enough to win that one for you, bro. Tampa Bay and the New York Giants. Man, like the rest of these games, they lost. They lost the rest of these games. We got the New York Giants at Dallas. New Orleans at the New York Giants. Baltimore at the New York Giants. And we know Lamar Jackson pissed from a couple years ago when the New York Giants they beat them on a last second drive. And that's the only team Lamar Jackson has lost to in the NFC. So y'all gonna get your ass handed to you that game. But the next game we got the New York Giants at the Atlanta Falcons. Indy at the New York Giants. And then the last one, New York Giants at Philly. You know, so after finishing the season now at 6-11, last year I got them finishing with a 2-15 record. Like that's horrible, bro. That's horrible. So with them going 2-15, New York Giants, they're gonna be on the quarterback market next season, looking for a new quarterback, rebuilding, and seeing where they can go from there. I'm sorry, I'm getting tongue tied. But hey, man, I'm out, man. Peace. These was my 2024 NFL divisional NFC East projections for this season. Y'all be sure to tune into the AFC East projections coming up next, and I'm gonna have more divisional projections this week. You know what I mean? I'm gonna try to have all those done by Thursday, which is the NFL season kickoff between the Baltimore Ravens and Kansas City Chiefs. So y'all be on the lookout for that. I'm out, man. Peace.